Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to day 13 of Life Coaching Month at the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts. My name is Michael Sclafani, and I am an intuitive life coach, energy healer, crystal healer, and I am just so excited to be here with you today and to be talking a little bit about intuition. So welcome everybody. Hi KC, how are you today? So I am so excited to talk to you guys a little bit about what intuition is and how you can access it and use it in your daily life. Hey Leanne, how are you, honey? So you guys, please bring your questions. Please, I would love to discuss how you access your intuition. If you have questions about using your intuition, I am so excited to get really into your take on using your intuitive abilities and how that looks for you. Welcome everybody. I just want to see who is here with us right now. Okay, I can't see names other than Casey and Leanne. So you guys, if you have a question or a comment, please make sure to type it in and we will get right down into it. Welcome, welcome everyone. It's my great honor to be here. So first of all, one thing that I do whenever delving into my intuition and really using my intuitive abilities, one thing I want to make sure that I am doing, and I tell everyone this, if you are really ready to use your intuition. Hey Sean, how are you, my friend? It is so important that you come from a place of centeredness, really tuned in to your inner knowing or your intuition. Hey Cecilia, Orlando, Florida, welcome. Hopefully it's warming up by you, Cecilia. Hey Sean. So one thing that I want to do really quickly personally that I do whenever I'm doing any kind of intuitive work or even talking intuition is I like to use tools to kind of drop into empty presence. And it's different for everybody. Not everyone has to use tools. Not everyone has to, burn sage, but that's exactly what I'm going to do today. Absolutely. Hey, Sue. Yes, Casey, centering is so important because if we're really accessing our intuition, that means that we are accessing that place within us that's never stressed, that never fears, that's never frantic. Hi Brian, welcome my friend. Love and light to everyone that is here. So one thing that I want to do really quickly, where did I put it? Right here. I want to burn some white sage. White sage is clinically proven to remove bacteria from the air, any kind of airborne pathogens that may be harmful, but also white sage has been used for millennia to really kind of center oneself. Just like you hear the term sage wisdom, it's kind of used to tap your inner wisdom. So that's what I want to do right now. So I am just going to burn some sage really quickly before we jump into this exciting topic. You know, I really feel like intuition is my passion and my purpose. It feels like my life's work because I am just so fascinated that each and every one of us have this superpower that we call intuition. And with the way the world is going and the way we are evolving rapidly right now, I feel like intuition is not just fun and a novelty, it's a survival mechanism. So I am so excited to be talking about this with you. Absolutely. Going within is the way to center, Casey, as we call it, intuition. Exactly. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just burning some white sage, and I'm burning this sage for all of you, clearing any negativity, helping us all get in contact with our inner wisdom, our sage wisdom, if you will, our intuition. Oh, I love that, Casey. Sage to remove the veil. It is so true. It really does remove the veil and help us see, truly see. All the sage, that's right. Hey, Jody, welcome. Welcome from Pismo Beach. Absolutely, Leanne, trusting what you know, that is so major. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Let's just jump right into it. So now that we are good and saged, like I said, I know many people that do not care for sage. And, some people that have allergies to sage. So it is not the only way, my friends. And just a hint for those of you that are professional intuitive practitioners, make sure that you know if your client is actually able to be around sage and if that's not going to be harmful for them. But there are plenty of other ways. You can use crystals, you can use essential oils. I've got my crystals and my oils right here. I've got my amethyst right here, which is one of my favorites for doing intuitive work. But we're going to talk about all of that. Right now, I want to know, does anybody have any burning questions about intuition? Yes, intuition has to come from inside. Welcome, Sarah. Hi, Becca. Hello, my loves. Hello, hello. Yes, Palo Santo is another amazing one. Isn't amethyst amazing? Amethyst is said to correlate to the upper chakras, the third eye, the crown. But another thing that I want to get into is that so many people are fixated on opening their third eye and thinking that that is the only way, the only chakra that actually allows you to access your intuition. I truly believe that every single one of our chakras, every single one of our energy centers is an access point to our intuition. And actually learning to access our intuition through every chakra is how we really get that full rainbow and that full spectrum of our intuition. So I am so excited to jump right into this. Let's go. Okay, perfect. Oh, sound. Yeah, absolutely, Sue. Sound can clear as well. Yes, so beautiful. In fact, did I bring... Oh, I didn't. Oh, wait, I did. You know what? Just for you, Sue. Sue is one of my dear friends and is an amazing sound healer. And for you, Sue, I'm just going to, for those of you who don't care for sage, I'm just going to bang a little bit of a singing bowl. This is a heart chakra singing bowl. So I'm going to intend that we open our hearts. And I saw a really good question. So after that, we're going to get right into that. Beautiful. Okay, so I saw some amazing questions. We're gonna jump right in. So Casey, I would love to start with your question because that is pretty much what it comes down to, right? Why do people doubt their intuition? If this is a space that is at the center of our being, the space that never changes, if you would put it our higher self or our eternal self, why on earth would we ever doubt that wisdom? Well, that's a great question, Casey. One thing that I've learned about doubting my intuition is that, believe it or not, doubting our intuition in the early stages of developing our intuition can actually be a gift. So I feel like doubting sometimes leads us to trusting. And I'll explain that because, when you think about your intuition, wouldn't it be just amazing if we could just trust everything and just live in complete trust? However, to get there sometimes after we've been conditioned by society, that, you're imagining things or this is all in your head. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes you are imagining things, and that's another amazing way that intuition works. But yes, Casey, doubt can be a gift because I'll tell you this, in my personal experience, that when I've doubted my intuition, it's been in those moments where I've had I knew that was going to happen, or, oh my God, I felt like that was going to be the case. That has been, in the process of doubting and in being proved right, was where I really learned to trust my intuition. So I want you guys to know, if you're having issues doubting your intuition, please allow that, embrace that, but really pay attention when you've learned that trust was the way to go all along. It will totally lead you into trusting yourself more because now you'll be able to recognize the voice of doubt versus the voice of your intuition. Absolutely, Taylor. Trusting your intuition is a journey. And I tell people all the time, I've been reading cards, I've been doing intuitive work for years, and I still feel like an infant when it comes to this topic because it is just so infinite. There's always another level. So if you are doubting yourself, if you're finding that you are just getting things wrong, so to speak, please, my friends, don't give up and never feel that you do not have an intuition. intuition, or that you're one of the few people that just don't get it, or you're not tuned in, because the truth is we all begin there, and believe it or not, you are closer to trusting your intuition than you think. So that leads me to my next point, is that I love being wrong with my intuition. Okay, when I'm learning to tap my intuition, I love when I get it wrong. And I'm going to tell you guys something. For all of those out there that really want to live an intuitive life, a sixth sensory life, and really tap into every one of your energy centers and that full spectrum of intuition, it's so important that you embrace getting it wrong, okay? And that's a journey in trust in itself, trusting that even if you get it wrong, you're on your way to getting it right. Because as you kind of just learn to say what comes, or you learn to take action on what you're feeling, even if it seems wrong, I'm telling you, it's a way of calibrating your intuition. And the more you put yourself out there and get it wrong, the closer you are to really understanding the voice that is right. Hey Ariella, hello all my friends, welcome you guys. Absolutely, you're always on your way to getting it right, so are you really getting it wrong? It's very important that you trust yourself enough to put it out there. And I always use the example of a blue toaster because it's funny, our intuition will speak to us in metaphors. So you don't know if all of a sudden you're with somebody, and let's say you're in an intuitive session, and you get a blue toaster coming to your mind, and you say, I am not going to say blue toaster. You know, there's no way that a blue toaster makes sense. I'm not going to say this because then my ego is just I'm going to feel ridiculous. You never know what a blue toaster means to someone in a reading. So I invite you to really get out of your critical, judgmental way of thinking and just be an open vessel. So absolutely. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you guys for being here. Hello, everybody that just came in. So Leanne says, every chakra is an integral part of our intuition. Absolutely. We doubt because when we are a child, our parents and authority figures tell us we are wrong for wanting or doing something. Thank you, Leanne. You know, and one thing that I felt intuitively before I jumped on this live was, you know, I was wondering how I would express myself today, how I would present myself. Because for those of you who follow me, you know that I am a born performer. And one of my favorite things to do is to really perform my intuition. You know, not everybody is like that. Some people are super intuitive, but very quiet and not performers. Some people are, you know, just out there and want to, you know, perform their intuition like the Long Island Medium or certain TV personalities. It doesn't mean they're frauds or they're phonies. It's simply that they express their intuition and their intuitive gifts in a different way. But when I was tuning in today, I thought, you know, maybe today I'm going to break out my new turban because I have a thing for turbans. It taps me into my intuition. And I thought, oh my gosh, and I'm going to wear my third eyepiece. I'm just going to bejewel myself with the most fabulous crystals, honey. And then I thought, you know what? I felt like Spirit told me, and intuitively I sensed that this is really about stripping away the layers. And Leanne, to go back to your point, you know, when we were children, we trusted our intuition far more than many of us trust our intuition as we mature and as we go through life and become conditioned. But I felt like the point that Spirit was telling me was, you do not need any kind of bells and whistles to tap into your intuition. You need to go back to the place of like being a child, where you were just naturally led, where you just trusted and you didn't need anything. So I invite you, you know, as much as I love my crystals and my tools and my pendulums, you know, this is another thing that I just absolutely love to use. All of these tools and cards and tea leaf readings, teacups. There's so many different ways to connect with the divine and with your intuition, but ultimately you don't need anything. You just need to become centered. Just as you were as a child when you were trusting and moving through life, knowing that things were going to work out. So I invite you to find what works for you, but ultimately know when it comes down to it, our intuition has been with us all along. It's just about accessing it. So I want to see, I think I might have missed some comments. So Casey says, blue toaster, the metaphor for me was that I'm hottest when I look to the blue skies for my intuitive guidance. Oh, Casey, that is beautiful. Thank you for that. And as random as a blue toaster, look how intuitively you kind of worked that into a message and felt the message there. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, that is so funny. Absolutely open vessels. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Linda. So you guys, I know that when I get on a roll, you could see my throat chakra from space. So let me ask you, what other questions do you have about accessing intuition? Because ultimately my intention for this session is to help all of the budding light workers, the new coaches, the amazing souls that are stepping up in this world to be of service. I really want to invite you to get more in touch with your intuition, and all of our intuition looks different. You know, all of us have different intuition, and intuition is like a thumbprint. So no one's is the same. You know, you can't tell somebody you're using your intuition right and you're using your intuition wrong. So I know each and every one of you has a very special way of accessing your intuition. So what are some burning questions for you personally? You know, because if you're asking from your heart, I'm sure it will touch many, but how do you access your intuition? Or how are you feeling how do you wish you could access your intuition? Let's go there. If you had all access, an all access pass to the full spectrum of intuition, what would you do with that gift? How would you want to use that in the world? Oh, KC says coaches use metaphors. Absolutely, KC, and thank you for saying that, because I want to talk about that as well. How to stop my analytical brain to stop and just let myself hear and feel and not question. Ariella, this is such a great question, and thank you for asking that from the heart, because you just touched my heart, my friend, because that is exactly what I struggle with at times, is how to drop out of my brain and to just feel and trust and not question. Because again, no matter how long you've been doing this, we all have that left brain analytical self. And I apologize for the shadows here, you guys. The lighting was a little different when I jumped on, but it's changing on me. I'm gonna find my light, like Tyra Banks says. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, there we go. So really quickly, I just want to address that, Ariella. One thing that's happening this year especially, and I'm not a numerologist, but of course, like many of us, I dabble in many different areas. But one thing I'm learning about this year, 2018, is that this is a 2-year, okay? When you add up 2, 0, 1, 8, it equals number 11, which reduces to 2, and the 2-year is really about duality. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with duality, where there's light, there's dark, where there's good, there's bad, seemingly, where there's, black, there's white. A duality, two things, opposites. And one thing that's happening this year that's so potent and powerful to realize is that half of us as humans might be led to more of a mind-centered living, a thought-centered living, where we're up in our heads and we're analyzing things. And then the other side of us may be really led into a heart-centered living, really trusting our feelings, our emotions, our internal GPS system. So you might be feeling this year especially, many of us may be feeling that we are torn between the thoughts that never stop and the analytical brain that never shuts up, and then our true feelings and our heart. It may be almost like this duality kind of existence right now as we're trying to access our intuition. So what I will tell you, Ariella, is to almost, when you feel like you're caught in your head, one of the most amazing things to do, if you can imagine that you are just taking an elevator from your mind. Imagine that you're standing in your mind and you're looking out of your eyes, kind of like the control center of your human vessel. And I want you to imagine that you get into an elevator and you just press the button for your heart and you lower right into your heart space. Because that is where you can shut off the mind and really check in with your feelings. And that's just one thing that I do. When I feel like I'm too caught up in the control center in the mind, I take a deep breath and I take the elevator down a few floors straight to my heart, and I stand there for a moment and I see what my heart is saying. And it's not to say that the mind is useless, because that's not the truth. We know that as intuitives and as professionals, you need that kind of, mental clarity as well to keep you in check and to kind of balance both the heart and the head. So sometimes it's about blending the analytical and the heart feelings. And it's funny because I feel when you come from the heart, your head follows suit. They say, and I wish I had the actual numbers for you, but our brain is putting out some kind of magnetic megahertz at something like 50 megahertz, and our heart is exuding this energy of like 5,000 megahertz. And again, I just made those numbers up, but it's something incredible like that, where our brain has a certain amount of great power, and yet our heart has this almost seemingly infinite power. So when we are leading from our heart space, our head follows suit to that dominant vibration. But it's about using both. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you. I will catch myself because my head is saying it's time management time. So absolutely, KC, Blue Toaster, toe reading, oracle cards. One thing that toe reading has taught me is that everything in life is a metaphor. So when you are tapping into your intuition, look for the metaphors in things. Because one other thing about blending your heart, your own inner knowing, with your mind is that when you do come from your heart space, when you're living intuitively, you'll notice that the universe speaks to you from its heart space. Did you feel that wind just pick up? Did you hear that? One thing I'm learning as I continue to do intuitive work is that if I come from my heart space and I get out of, the head dominant place, when I drop into that true magnetic resonance of the heart, that because I have such a grasp internally, externally, the world will begin to give me signs. The universe will begin to provide synchronicities and signs that, yes, your feelings are correct. And it will show you metaphors. Just like KC tuned into the blue toaster, you're hottest when, you're tuned into your intuition. Or looking up to the blue skies, tuning into that for your intuition. You'll see planes around you. You'll see birds. You'll see animals speaking to you. I can hear some neighbors talking. Maybe they have a message. Who knows? When you come from your heart space, it's amazing how you have a grasp on your internal self and the external world really speaks to you. So Becca says, I need to be healthy on all levels so nothing is holding me back or blocking access to my intuition. No drama to block divine messages. Amen, Becca, because we all know, save the drama for your mama. When you are tuning into drama or judgment, you instantly close off the intuition. You instantly come from a place of your head rather than your heart, rather than your gut. And it's difficult sometimes because as humans, and especially living in our society, in this day and age, judgment is very prevalent. We're taught to judge. We're taught to judge ourselves. We're taught to judge others. And so to just shut that off can be a challenge. But I'm telling you, dropping into the heart space, connecting to the unity of all things, this helps us to kind of shut off that judgmental voice and tune into that inner voice. So you're so right. When you're feeling drama, don't expect to really tune into your intuition because it's going to be off kilter, honey. So you wish you could tune, so April says, I wish I could tune into my intuition even when there is chaos and noise around me. Great. April, again, dropping into that heart space. A deep cleansing breath. That's all it takes. And then it's great to have fun too. Hold your amethyst. It really does make a difference. Hold a crystal. Get an essential oil. Whatever it is that tunes you in, allows you to access that inner space, trust me. Things will, that chaotic voice and that storm that's swirling around you, you will find that even when there's a storm swirling around you, by centering, you can become the eye of the storm and access your intuition. So Dana says, how do you discern when to share and when to observe and stay quiet? Ooh, that's a great one, Dana. That is a great one. Yes, good question. Okay, so Dana, one thing that I've learned with simply observing and then feeling as though, okay, the universe is having me speak. What's the difference? Because, as a Sagittarius, I've learned what my foot tastes like. And by that means I've stuck my foot in my mouth quite a few times in life, okay? And apparently that's a Sagittarian thing, but I think we've all been there where we've said something and then we're like, ooh, should I have said that? So here's one thing, it's just like they talk about responding and not reacting. Our intuition is simply interpreting the energies that are around us. That's what intuition is. It's how we interpret the energies, how our physical body and our certain gifts align and interpret what's going on. So when you are interpreting something intuitively, let's say you're talking to somebody and all of a sudden, boom, you get a hit on something. But you're not sure, is this person ready to hear what I have to say? Or is it my duty as an intuitive to say this? Let me tell you, that is another great opportunity to check in with yourself and ask yourself, first of all, if I was this other person, would I want to receive this information? Would I be in a place to receive this information right now? That's the first thing that I would do. But then also, and this is great because I use this in my readings all the time, because there's so much information coming sometimes when you really connect to your intuitive Wi-Fi, that it's about figuring out, almost prioritizing the information that you're discerning and seeing, okay, what is right for me to talk about? Maybe what am I saving for a later time? And one thing that I do personally, and this may not be the same for you, but I actually pay attention to my physical body. And one thing that I do is I actually have like yes and no twitches. This sounds weird, but stick with me here. And it would be different for everyone. But sometimes if I'm in a reading and I'll all of a sudden feel like, okay, there's something to do. There's something about this situation that has to do with this person's father and the issues they have with their father. And I'll say, okay, father issues. That could be deep. That could be a little touchy. Is this something that I want to talk about? I'll let my body tell me. Is this something that I'm leaning into or backing up against? Is this something that I'm getting a yes twitch with on my left side or a no twitch with on my right side? I know that sounds crazy, but as I've developed my intuition, you will find that your whole body speaks to you. And that's what I've learned. Your entire body, including the energy around you, the universe will speak to you. If you're about to say something to someone, and even if you're coming from a place of love and you're about to say something, but then maybe you hear a bird squawking in the distance, or there's kind of like an ominous rush of wind that rushes past you, maybe this is the universe saying, maybe not the right time. Or you'll notice sometimes I've noticed when I'm about to say something and, another thing, and I promise I'm going to get to the other comments and run through this, but another thing that I wanted to really talk about is psychic showboating, intuitive showboating. Because when we are right out the gate on our journey and we're noticing, oh my gosh, I am tuning into my intuition, this is great, I've really got it. Sometimes we want to go out and we just want to shout from the rooftops, I'm an intuitive, and let me read you, and let me read you, and let me share my intuitive insights for you. It's kind of like Oprah, you got a reading, and you got a reading, and you got a reading. And the thing is that can be a form of psychic showboating or intuitive showboating. And one of the mottos that I live by, and Dana, this may also help, is it's about blessing and not impressing. When we come from a place of, okay, I want to impress this person, or I want to impress people with my intuitive abilities, right there, we're on a very slippery slope, okay? A very slippery slope. But when you come from a place of blessing, I'm going to bless this client. Sometimes I've had readings where I've received information and gotten clear hits on things that my client will talk about right before they say it. And it's almost like, oh my God, I was just thinking about that. Oh my gosh, I was just getting that, But really what the client needed was just for me to shut up and listen. They didn't need for me to say, oh my God, I was getting that. My intuition was telling me that. They didn't need to hear that. They just simply needed me to listen, and the intuitive hits that I was getting was simply my own validation for me, like, yes, you are holding space correctly. you are tuned into the needs of your client or your querent or whoever you're sitting with. So I would say a great way to discern is really to come from that place of blessing, and you'll get the feelings from internally or externally, whether it's time to speak, as the space will be created for you to speak that and share that, or it's time to simply shut up and listen. So thank you for that question. That's another hard-won lesson I feel for many intuitives. Okay, I'm just reading through. Hi, Sherry. Welcome, my friend. Hey, Jody. So I just really quickly want to, oh my goodness, it looks like we are out of time already. Oh my goodness. Okay, so guys, I want to take one more question from what you've written, because I really was worried about filling this space, and here we are 30 minutes later and it's time to go. So I really quickly just want to see which other question is here that I can address with this last moment. Casey says, when we're willing to be vulnerable, our intuition is strongest. Casey, you're so right. Being that open vessel and not worrying about what people are thinking. Absolutely. We have to be brave to be of service. You're so right. Okay. Okay, relationship of child and spirit and how it relates to intuition. That's a good one. Thank you for that, Leanne. I'm going to see what else we have. Absolutely. Our body is a machine. Okay, I'm just checking you guys to make sure. Absolutely, internally validated. Sue, you're so right. It's about knowing that you are validating yourself, feeling that sense of validation. It's not about what other people are thinking. And sometimes what's funny is that I've noticed spirit will kind of have us put ourselves out there. And when it seems to be that we're making a fool of ourselves and that we weren't validated, sometimes you will never know whom you validated and who you touched. So you cannot expect external validation, because the truth is you will never know your true legacy. Like Maya Angelou has said, your legacy is the people that you've touched and the people that they've touched and the people that they've touched. My friends, 90% of that legacy, your own legacy that you're going to leave by leading an intuitive life, you will never know the lives and the souls that you've freed and that you've truly touched on a deep level. So please don't expect to get that validation. Show up, be of service, be a blessing, and your intuition will do the rest of the work for you. Now, really quickly, Leanne, the reason why I associate the inner child with your intuition is because children are so pure. They haven't had a chance yet in this life to get, jaded or conditioned into this is what I should be doing, this is how I should be living. This is why children see spirit and, are often pointing up at corners of the house laughing. They can sense energies and they're freely interpreting energy. So what I would invite you to do is, if you are really serious about accessing your intuition in your own unique way, please know that it cannot be taught. There are different tips and different tricks, and it's great to have a community holding space of other intuitive light workers, but truly, to really do the intuitive work, you must access your inner child and go back to that place within you before you were taught that that's crazy. Before you were taught you're weird, before you experienced that kind of shame for accessing your intuitive powers. Going back to that place of just trust and play and not needing to know the answers, not needing to know every bit of esoteric information or the phases of the moon or different crystals or whatever. All of the answers were within you all along. And children are so tuned into that. So on that note, my friends, I could talk to y'all for days about intuition, and I would love to do that. If you have any questions about intuition, please message me. You can message my personal page on Facebook, my Facebook page, Crystal Queer Live. I look so forward to discussing with you how you can access this intuition and how you can trust more and become that inner intuitive child. And until next time, my friends, I am sending you so much love. I honor each and every one of you for joining me on this beautiful Saturday. And until next time, my friends, so much love to you. Have an amazing, intuitive, heart-led day. Mwah. Bye, guys.